I know this is completely random link, but this is for like PlayStation 5's Unreal Engine 5.
What is?
You haven't seen
Oh no, I did see that. Oh my god, with the new light and all that fucking shit and the bounce.
yes,
My
not even ray
god,
tracing either. If they added ray tracing to that game, holy fuck! Oh my.
dude.
I'm
Well, wait a
sorry.
minute. There's not. How is there not ray tracing? Explain
There
ray
is no
tracing to me.
ray tracing. Lumen and fuck. Lumen and Nanite are the new rendering sources that they're using
Right.
instead of ray tracing.
What? Oh. Well, but then why do they need ray tracing if they've replaced it? Well,
They don't
what
need ray
does
tracing.
right? Well, okay. I thought you
I'm
said it
just
needed
like,
ray tracing.
no. Ray tracing would just be an enhancement. That would be like, oh my fucking, that would be insane. That would be insanity.
Could be. I don't. I guess I don't understand what exactly ray tracing is outside of what it's already doing. Because like, isn't ray tracing just like light here goes to here and then reflects the light everywhere, and that's almost what they've replaced entirely.
Yes. They
So
don't even. This is made by Epic too, by the way. Keep that in mind.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I
Okay.
I
No,
couldn't tell you,
I was
man.
amazed. I saw that yesterday, man. That shit. I'm amazed. We're gonna be simulating a whole universe soon, and then we're gonna be loading into that universe.
Within the time frame of like 5 seconds.
Yeah, no,
No
I
more
mean,
loading
but
time.
yeah, eventually we're going to be in the Matrix. I mean, I think, yeah, we're probably already in a simulation, is my opinion. And
Why does everybody believe that? Everyone believes that, man.
because, man, like, there's this whole theory that if we were ever to be able to create a simulation in our world,
We
then
could
it
definitely.
proves that we're already in one, and we're that's inside of one, and that's inside of one. I just imagine a world in the future, like, we're trying to predict everything. We're getting all these algorithms to capture people's shit online, and then like we're gonna build a simulation to try to predict things, and it's gonna simulate the world, and then we're gonna try to interact with it, and then those people are gonna turn out to be Jesuses of that world and create these, like, accidentally create these religions inside because they tried to tell the little people inside how the outside works and they didn't understand it, so they simplified it, and they're like, but
Mm.
there's this Holy Spirit, the programming, there's me, God, on the outside, and then Jesus, the avatar, on the inside. And that's how, and they're like, what? And then he tells them, these guys don't get it. So he goes somewhere else and tries to explain it different. And then those guys fight because it's differently explained and he didn't think they'd ever talk to each other. Whew.
It's called history, man. It's literally called history.
Well, no, that's not called history. I'm explaining how that
Okay,
aligns
so
with it being a
how do you think
simulation.
the Christians were formed? It was based off one idea and belief, and the idea spread to other people, and then like such as
No,
Christians and Jews fought against each other, such as like Romans and Greeks. You know what I mean? It was all based
no,
off one
well,
belief of something, and they all fought
no, I
because
get that because that's what I'm referencing. But what I said isn't just history. What I said is aligning history with the concept that we're in a simulation and that these gods are actually just people on the outside of the simulation trying to talk to the people inside the simulation.
well, God hasn't talked to us though. And that's the one thing
Not
that makes the
anymore
simulation real.
because the programmers on the simulation tried to do it and it screwed everything up. All those wars happened, so they're like, look, you're not allowed to try to talk to those people anymore. They're
So you're
only allowed to pray into the script that delegates prayers and requests of the simulation.
so you're telling me we had simulations back in 1910?
I'm telling you that 1910 was a simulation. I'm telling you
How
that
the fuck? Oh my man, this is so confusing because like you think about it way back then, we had no technology to even know what the word fucking simulation really meant.
right, but you simulate Skyrim and they don't have computers in Skyrim. I'm saying we live in Skyrim. We're in a computer, whether or not we can simulate inside of it or not. Like the gods that everyone worships are people running the machine that we're living in.
You know, a part of me wants to believe that, but a part of me has died and actually seen God. It's a part of me that's like, no, man. It's IMO, right? My own opinion, because I've physically seen something that was there and I was actually legitimately dead, which makes me believe that the world, all right, I'm gonna explain something to you. So when I
Sure.
died, I remember the feeling of being burned alive, but it was so dark that you couldn't see the fire. And I remember like bodies falling on top of me, and I kept
Hmm.
trying to climb up, but every time I climbed up, there was just something bigger than me kicking me down.
Hmm.
And I heard a voice, and it was like, "Father, let me come help him," or something. And my body felt lifted.
Hmm.
And I went inside of this church that I've been to since I was like 6.
Hmm.
And instead of there being like a crucifix at the end of the hall, There wasn't a crucifix. It was just an open view of clouds and angels, but except they didn't have halos. They just had really feathery wings and nice voices. But
Hmm.
it's one of those things where you're so happy where you just can't think of anything that makes you sad.
Hmm.
And you have full consciousness. You know exactly what you want to do. It's like you imagine yourself being on a roller coaster. You close your eyes and then you open your eyes and you're like, you're on that roller coaster. It's one of those things where anything you imagine happens.
Yeah. Well, that's almost my point. And before I say what I like, this is my belief of the world, and it helps me
Yeah.
to understand how all these religions exist and how these religions say I'm right and these religions say I'm right, and we think that only one can. And so this isn't to take away from anything
Oh
that
no,
you have
no.
experienced, but I think when you dream, your dreams are consisted of the experiences from the waking world, and then you go and you have this weird concoction of all of your dream, of all your experiences in this other weird form. And so I think maybe your experience is real, but it's also built from the things that were already in your head.
So
Um,
do you think dreams are real? Like dreams are your real life, and that we wake up back in the simulation.
No, but I think that the system has these cycles where it's like you have a wake and then you have a little bit of sleep. And then that is a little like okay, like you have an atom in a world. Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm
you're all
sorry.
good. You're good.
No. Listen, it's a fucking complicated process.
What?
All right, hold on, man.
Okay.
Listen, we're gonna finish. How the hell do you get a freaking pole stuck in my door, man? You see this shit?
What? You got a pole stuck in your door.
How the fuck do you get a pole stuck in your door, man?
Oh,
That's tough.
don't get that by accident.
That's all right, man. Anyway, listen, we're gonna create this story. I
Oh,
believe.
wait. Okay, no, I was getting on something. Hang on. So, yeah, I think that like an atom is a little bitty nucleus with electrons swinging around it, and then big size that is contained in a world with a sun with planets and a more complex version spinning around it. It's just like an atom. So, like that proves that little things are inside of big things that are similar to themselves. And so
It
then
makes a lot of sense.
you've got waking life, little bit, or long awake, little bit of sleep, and that's a full day. And then you bigger version, life. Death is this little bitty going through. So like that's probably what your experience was, that living through your life experiences and everything you knew applied to what was going on, and then whatever happened where you came back to life. That's awesome. But then it probably starts over and does all this stuff, and I think life is whatever you think it is. And that's why prayers work, because you think they're going to work. And that's why every religion is right, because you're focusing on it.
See, that's understandable, 100% understandable, but it's one of those things where like time isn't the same. It's like if I go to Mars, they have like what 20, 25 hours in a day. And now
Time is the same, but the sun is different because the planet moves different. But time is technically the same. Well, okay, you're right, because speed, space time, the movement of the planet or whatever. So, I mean, it's only different in comparison. If you moved all humans to Mars, we'd all be around each other at the same speed. But it's when Mars people try to talk to Earth people that there'd be a difference, probably.
So if we found proof that there are other life forms that are just like us, would it prove your theory wrong that life is not a simulation? That life
No.
is out there and existing on other different planets just because we're not physically able to see them, doesn't it mean that life is not a simulation because life is continuing on and on through different planets? It's not just here, it's here and here. That's not like a simulation. That's different.
Why is that different? I mean, if all of that is inside of a simulation, why is it different? I mean, like, I can drive from one end of San Andreas to the other end of San Andreas in GTA. Just because I didn't see the other end doesn't mean it's not in the simulation.
What why does it have to be simulated? Why does life have to be simulated? What makes life not simulated?
Well, what do you mean, what makes it not simulated?
How what makes life not simulated? Is there because I can't unconvince you of something you don't believe in, but if I could, I would tell you. There has to be
Well,
proof that life isn't a simulation.
why does it matter? Like, whether it's simulated or not. I mean, to me, I'm just saying that because, like, that's the conclusions I've come to, and I'm sharing them. But like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change my day to day. It doesn't change what's going on in this world. Everything's still true of this world. So it doesn't matter if it's simulated or not. But I mean, like, the big question I have is like, science or whatever explains shit like this will do this consistently. And when I put vinegar and baking soda together, they will go like this. They'll explode. But like, why? What
So
says?
do you believe that there are like superhumans out there that are basically simulating us?
I don't know whether they're humans or not, but I mean, if it's a simulation, then there's something running that simulation. And then in my original theory, those things are the things that originally were gods in those stories.
Right. I mean, well, there is proof that like other beings have been to this earth. So like,
Like aliens?
yeah, there's physical proof that aliens have been here. So how do you know
Sure.
they haven't manipulated our brains? And they're like, oh, I mean,
Maybe
what
they
are
have.
aliens? Because like we could be aliens to them, to be honest.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I
what,
mean,
what
everyone, and aliens only an other. An alien's just
pretty
something you
much.
don't know of. Right?
I
Bugs
mean,
are freaking aliens.
so you think our universe is simulated?
I think it's very possible. I mean, I think that when, like, why does anything do anything? I can look at a watch face and say, this arm is going to move to that within this amount of time, but I can't explain why unless I pull the watch face off and look at all those gears behind the scenes. Or like a computer, when I click, I can say when I click start, it'll always open up that start menu. But why? There's programming inside of the computer that says when this happens, this happens. And so, like, what's telling anything in the world to be any certain way? Where is that code? What's telling the world what to do?
Okay, do you know Erwin Schrödinger? I don't know how to say his name. He's
Schrodinger?
German.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we theorized that theorized to be in a box with some radioactive material, and there was a 50% chance that the cat is dead and 50% chance the cat is alive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, common sense would tell us that the cat is already either dead or alive. We just don't know because we haven't looked in the box.
Right.
We open the box, it'll be revealed to us whether the cat is dead or alive, but quantum physics tells us that the cat is both alive and dead at the same time until somebody opens up the box to observe it.
Yeah.
The cardinal rule is the universe renders only which needs to be observed.
Right, like in a game. Yeah, exactly. Like until you look at it. But I mean, part of that theory is that it's your mind that's affecting it. It's your observation. I don't know if you've heard of the double slit experiment.
No, I haven't.
So like they do this. Okay, imagine that you've got like a card or like a wall with one hole in it, one little slit, and then you start shooting bullets through it. Like they start shooting atoms through this hole, and then they put a wall in the back to indicate where it was hitting. And so you'd imagine if you only have this hole to shoot through.
I know what you're talking about. Right? Okay.
Yeah, but it's waves. It's like, whoa, I was only shooting one bullet at a time, but somehow it's acting like it's bouncing off a million other versions of itself and creating a wave. So then we're like, that can't be. So we look at the fucking hole when they're going through to make sure what's going through there. And then when we looked at it, all of a sudden they're acting different. They're not being waves. They're being specific things because we're looking right at them. So like, I think that's tied to the Schrodinger thing where it's like, not until you look at it. I don't know if that negates or says anything about the simulation aspect, but it does say something about the connection between your mind and reality. But I should also say that the Schrodinger's box thing was made up by Schrodinger as a joke to say that the whole concept was kind of stupid, and then everyone kind of ran with it. But I still agree with the concept behind it.
Right. Okay. Oh
Sorry.
my god. I'm fuck, man. This is no. Okay, I could see your theory.
Yeah.
Not that I'm becoming more of a believer. It's just one of those things where it makes sense. Like it's just
Yeah.
there. It's proof in the fucking pudding. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's some reason, like this person says, I'm convinced there's this God, but your God's wrong. And then this guy says, no, I'm convinced that mine's right and yours is wrong. And then like, I'm looking at them as humans. Like humans, what? They're stupid and they're not, or like it makes more sense to go. There's something that's convincing them, and if the world reflects whatever you put in your mind, then shit, that explains why they start reading the Bible and they're like, all the stuff from the Bible is in my world now. It's magic. And then these people are reading the Quran and they're like, this is making sense because all this stuff is in the world. I'm seeing it. And science makes sense because they're doing that too. But yeah, I don't know. I think that once you look at it that way, you can almost respect other religions more. And it doesn't mean you're wrong or anything. You could say, you know what, I'm going to still believe in, because like if after death it's built out of whatever you think, then isn't it better that you believed in a place after that where you could go and hang out with everyone? Like you're almost you're adding that plug-in to your world. You're saying, yeah.
So, all right, what about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we were living in a computer program, I assume that program would consist of rules, and that those rules could be broken or suspended by the people beings who programmed the simulation.
Right.
The laws of our physical world seem to be pretty consistent, so isn't that a sign that this might not be a simulation?
Well, in your theory, what says that anyone on the outside is going to affect it in any way? Like why would they? Why does that have to happen?
Because everybody has different fates. It's like, it's one of those things where like you could watch yourself do something, but that can be affected by a person interacting with you, and then you could do something differently. Does that make sense?
I'm not following yet.
You're not following me?
No, I'm not following how what you just said relates to what you said before.
Okay, hold on.
Like you're saying that it proves that we're not in a simulation because the people running the simulation aren't fucking with it. They're just letting it go.
How about this? All right,
but like once GTA is released, they don't fuck with it anymore. You're just playing it.
Right. Like I said, computers do follow rules, but the fact that the rules always apply doesn't rule in or rule out that we could be a part of a computer simulation. One of the concepts that ties this, that ties into this is a concept called I don't know how to fucking pronounce it because like computational I don't fucking. All right, hold on. All right, hold up. I got you. Because I don't know how to say this word because I'm too fucking sped to say it.
It's all good.
All right, hold on. So this right here, right? This word, right?
Computational irreducibility. Okay.
Yeah, and it's the idea that in order to figure something out, you can't just calculate it in an equation. You have to actually go through the steps to figure out what the end result would be. And this part of a branch of mathematics called chaos theory. Okay. There's the old idea that the butterfly flaps its wings in China and it results in a hurricane somewhere else in the world. To figure that out, you would actually have to go through a model every step of the way. Just because the rules seem to apply doesn't mean that we're not in a simulation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't prove that we're not in a simulation. I mean, it doesn't prove that we are, but yeah, I mean, so you agree with me? I mean, not that you believe in what I believe, but you agree with the facts that I'm throwing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like, I can imagine, like, being like, I wonder what would happen with this. Like, I've downloaded a space simulation where it's like, I'm going to throw an extra moon in there and see what happens. And they're like, wow, and it destroys, like, all the orbits and shit. And you're just like, yeah, this is funny just to see what happens. Our gods could be like that. They're just like, let's just create this complex thing and let's see what happens. Or maybe they're complicated. They're like computing what it takes to find love or something about emotion or something in our minds, you know?
It's I don't know. Probably the most important question related to this is whether we are NPCs or PC characters in the video game. If we're PCs, then that means we're just playing a character inside the video game of life, which I call the Great Simulation. Mm-hmm. I think many of us would like to know this. We would want to know the parameters of the game we're playing so that we could better understand it and navigate it.
Are you reading something someone posted to you?
No, you can. This is completely like me trying to figure out shit inside of my head.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't have to read off.
I saw your eyes moving, and that's why I assumed that. I didn't think that
something
beyond you or something. No, you're good. You're good. Okay. I forgot what you just said. Sorry.
I don't know, man. Listen, simulation of life. It's a complex theory. I wish, hopefully, we can have more evidence to back this up in the future.
Yeah, but I don't know if it matters. I think if we prove that we are in a simulation, that'll freak everybody out. Like, oh, what are we gonna do? And it's like you can't do anything. So it's almost better that you don't know.
If God came down to Earth, it would prove everything else to be wrong. That's what we need. All we need is God to drop down here, man, and give us confirmation. The all-knowing one.
I mean, yeah, but I don't trust a majority of humans to process things 100% the right way. I don't know. I mean, I think if I'm right about how the religion stuff started in relation to a creator of the simulation, then I don't know if it would do any good if they came back. People would be stupid. Great. Oh, he just ditched me. Man, we were having a good chat.
This is weird, bro.